everybody. Welcome back to the Tell Them You Mean Business podcast. It's officially season 4 of this podcast, and I'm your host, attorney Chad Kreblin, one of the owners of the law firm. Today we have a very special guest. The guy has built an entire career out of his very rare skin condition where objects stick to his skin by suction. He's appeared on various television shows to show off his talents, including The Ellen DeGeneres Show, The Late Late Show with James Corden, and he's met countless celebrities, including George Clooney, Kevin James, Vanilla Ice, Adam Sandler, and Jay Leno, just to name a few. He's also a Guinness World Record holder for his unique talent. You could say he's definitely made the most out of a sticky situation. I'm excited to welcome Jamie Keeton, everyone. Nice to have you.
You too.
So I have to start by asking you about your nickname.
Canhead?
Canhead. Tell us about how you got the nickname Canhead.
I was at a bar and I did the little trick and everything. And I then sat down the next day and somebody was sitting there saying, "What's that guy's name yesterday that was here sticking cans to his head? Like putting cans to his head." I went, "Probably Canhead." And he goes, "Yeah, that's him." And that's where it started off.
Okay, and so literally people just started calling you Canhead, and did you have an issue with that?
At first I was like, but I just don't do cans, but mostly it's cans. So I was like, I'll just keep it, and it stuck. And then I actually drew my own logo, a skull with cans on it. And,
okay.
So I had to keep it then.
I want to talk in a little bit about some of the other things that you can make stick to your skin, but just tell us generally for the listeners that can't see us right now, how you stick a can to your head.
Well, I have to go all the way back to inside the womb. Reason why I'm saying that is that when a baby's inside the womb, it breathes through its skin. And my mom had a car accident. I came out 3.5 months early. I was a preemie, of course, and everything. But I have RHA negative blood. They call that the blood of the gods, blood of aliens, because we don't carry the ape gene in us. So a lot of the people that have this are like psychics. They see dead people and stuff like that. But the doctors think I was able to keep my suction of the skin because of that. So even at a little baby, my mom noticed after we found out that my hands would stick to the floor when I was crawling. It was like vibrating across the floor. But it wasn't until 7 years old when I really started asking questions because my toys started sticking to the palm of my hand. So at that point, my mom goes, "Oh, no, it's just you climbing pine trees and stuff like that." I said, "Okay, no problem." But then more things started happening. At 14, I was picking up the back ends of cars and stuff like that, thinking that was normal. They found out that I'm one of 4 in the world that have my skin condition. They're trying to name it completely. One's saying it's a sticky skin syndrome and stuff like that. But with that, I'm able to heal faster. I don't age like everyone. I have superhuman strength and things stick to me. And when I talk about superhuman strength, I have a picture I can show you too. You know what calf raises are, right?
Yeah.
I do 1,000-pound calf raises.
Wow.
So, and that sets a 30 at a time.
And is that just something, I mean, have you had to work out over the years to get to that point, or is
no,
that
not at all.
I just comes naturally?
Went to it and tried to see if I could do it. They first put like 345s on each side just to test. I said, "This is lightweight. This ain't nothing." So then we stacked them so much that we couldn't add no more 45s to the weights on both sides. So now I get people staying on top of it to add extra weight.
Wow. So you really start discovering this when you're in elementary school, middle school. Is that something that you were comfortable sharing with your friends or sharing off? Is it something you hid? Like, how did you introduce this ability to the world?
Well, I did not want to show nobody. I didn't want to be called a freak. I didn't want to be called a weirdo or whatever. It wasn't until the 90s when the X-Men movies started coming out, late 90s and stuff like that, or early 2000s. And because it wasn't until 2011, I actually did the Ellen show, and that's when really everything hit off. And what did that was that my son asked me to, "Hey, YouTube's out, let's try to do it. Let's do one video." And I said, "Okay." So I'm pouring a a full mini keg of Heineken off my head into a cup for him because my son's older. He is 21 at the time. And it went sort of viral. Within a week and a half, the Ellen Show called. When they first called me, I hung up on them because I thought it was a joke until I'm getting emails, texts, and all this other stuff saying, hey, it's really Ellen Show.
What's it like going on one of these shows? I mean, are you self-conscious of the response that you're going to get from the audience, or where I guess what was the response from the audience when you showed them what you could do?
Well, when I was on the Ellen Show and I showed it for the first time, more or less worldwide, it was a big uproar in the crowd. And after the show, they said Justin Bieber was just on here last week. You have a bigger, louder, people screaming when you did your trick on the show. And I went like, wow, bigger than Justin? Come on.
That's fantastic. And how did you end up on the Corden show?
Let's see, I've done almost every show in America and over half of Europe. But when the Gordon show came on, it was I had to compete against somebody. And one guy sticking a piece of corn up his nose and coming out of his eye, kind of thing, just weird tricks. And of course, everyone's freaking out on mine. I'm pouring actual full cans of alcohol off my head. Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, what I know you said before that the name Canhead was given to you because you were in a bar and you stuck a can to your head. What other objects can you stick to your skin?
Well, I can stick almost anything that's non-porous. The thing is that if it's like a sponge or something, no, it's not going to hold because it breathes right through it. The clothes I wear do not stick because it breathes through it. But now when I use, and there's a reason why I use only glass, plastic, and aluminum, none of them is magnetizable. I don't want to be called Magneto and all that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I wanted to show that, one of the biggest things, I do a full bottle of Patron, pour shots off the back of my head, or Bacardi, or...
What's the weight limit on, at what point does the object fall from your skin?
I don't know yet.
What's the heaviest object you've ever stuck to yourself?
A full mini keg, which was around 100 pounds.
And how? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
It just stuck there, and it was weighing on my neck some, so I had to have someone help me take it off.
Was that on a show, or was it in front of friends, or?
It was on a show, but it wasn't like one of televised shows. It was on a little show I did it on.
Okay. I understand that you're in the Guinness Book of World Records.
I'm actually in 7 of them.
Okay, tell me about that. How did you approach the Guinness people? Did they approach you after seeing some of the public events you did?
They actually came to me. I was at being Canhead at an event, and I get a phone call from China, from someone in China. I'm like, why is China calling me? And they said, we're part of the Guinness World Record. We got a Guinness World Record show, and we'd like to know if you would like to be part of it. I said, well, what I got to do? They said, well, what you do now, how many can you stick to your head? I said, I don't know. I haven't really challenged myself on that. So they're like, well, can you do at least 7 or 8? And I went, yeah. And so they said, well, we'd like to make the new world record of your record of sticking things to yourself. And I went, okay. So I got my own first world record for myself.
Okay. So nobody had done this before.
No one's ever done it before.
Okay. And what was the first record that you broke?
Most cans stuck to a human head.
Okay. And what was that?
It was 7.
Okay. And you have 6 other records?
I had to re-break it.
Okay.
So I re-broke it the next year. Then the following year, one of the other guys broke the record, and now I just took it back. I'm in the new 24 Guinness World Record, page 7, and he's already challenged me change that one again.
So is there a sticky skin community out there who, where these challenges are thrown back and forth? Have you made acquaintances with other people with this condition? How does that work?
I found out there was 4 of them, and I did reach out to them when I found out about it. But only one of them really tries to do little things here and there. And most of them sit at markets and gets tips and stuff like that. And but I turned it into a business where I market for people's companies. I wear their name on the shirts, on the cans. I go to events, concerts, golf outings, races, anything that can drag attention. Put it this way, like say, obviously you guys wanted to be part of NASCAR. It's about $250,000 or more for a 30-second commercial during like the Daytona 500. Actually, it's more than that. It's millions on that. But regularly, it's about $230,000. Would you rather pay $230,000 or pay me maybe $10,000 to $15,000 for a 3-day weekend? But I average 15 minutes a day on TV compared to a 30-second commercial for $250,000. Which one would you rather do?
Yeah, I mean, I would pay you $200,000 if you could stick a NASCAR to your head and hold that up, but.
Yeah, I got little Matchbox NASCARs I stick to my head. Hey, I just got $200,000.
So how you've turned this into kind of a business, like, and I know you're wearing some of your merch today. How busy does that keep you?
I stay pretty busy. I'm already booked up through August on certain weekends. I do have some openings, but it's been busy. It's been steady. You know, it's funny. Some of my worst critics will say, "Hey, how's your 15 minutes of fame?" I go, "Right now, it's on 24 years." You know?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Well, I mean, what would the criticism be? I mean,
Well, some people think it's a trick. You know, that I'm doing something, but then you don't get in Guinness World Records for doing tricks. You have to prove what you can do, show what you can do. Like when this last one, they sat there while the guy shaved my head for me. Then they bought their cans. I wrapped them up with my logo. Then I had to do it. After they did that, they cleaned my head with alcohol, make sure nothing's on my head. Then they tell me I got to do it right now. So then I started doing it. And then now when I broke the world record, I had to keep it on for at least a minute. Now, because everyone else can't do it like me, they're like, "Oh, you got to keep it on for 5 seconds." I'm like, 5 seconds? Okay.
So when they approached you and said, "We want you to attempt this record, or we want you to attempt to set a new record," do they physically travel to you? Do you travel to them? I'm assuming they're weighing the objects and making sure that it's all legit.
Yes, they make sure everything is legit. Now, most of the time, Guinness does not pay for you to go somewhere. But because where I'm at and everything in life, I get paid to travel to where they're having the events. So they pay me for that part. They don't pay me. Whoever's doing the event pays me. Pays me to be there to break the world record.
Okay. And where was the last record that you broke? Where did you travel for that?
2 miles down the street.
You were able to do that right here.
They actually wanted to come here to, because they wanted to see, I told them that I ride motorcycle and everything, and they wanted to see me ride my motorcycle with the cans on. Yes, they do not fall off until I go over 30. So while I'm riding around on the motorcycle, they got video of me doing that.
As somebody who represents people injured in motorcycle accidents, I don't recommend that, but it's really hard to believe that the suction to your skin is that strong that it would stay
to give you an idea.
Speeds. So
just pull it off. I've just put a jar of cashews on my head. Full, never been open.
For those of you who can't see, he literally has a can of cashews stuck to the side of his head, a plastic can. And I am pulling fairly hard, as hard as I can almost, and it is not coming off.
Fall.
Okay, you were able to just pop it right off pretty easily. How did you do that? By moving your face?
I've now learned I can control my skin on my head. I think about it and it falls off. One of my friends was sitting around with me, and every time he'd say, "Get that stuff off you," I'd reach up to grab, and it would fall off. He says, "I think you're thinking about taking it off, and it would fall by itself." And I said, "No." So I went up to grab it, and it fell again. I went, "Wait a second, let's put them back on." And I said, "Now I'm not going to reach for it at all. I'm going to think about pick a can, one or two." And he goes, "Two," and I go, "Okay." And then it fell off.
Kind of a strange question, but you're bald. Is that
I have to shave it every other day.
I was going to ask if that's something that Mother Nature decided for you, or something that you've decided because it's part of the
right now. I wish Mother Nature did.
So this is something you have to keep up on a fairly regular basis.
Correct.
Because I'm assuming with the hair, the suction wouldn't maintain.
Well, I can do it with up to about quarter or almost a half inch of hair, almost. But it makes not being able to suck all the way down to it. It leaves little openings, so it leaves air pockets in, so it won't hold.
And I noticed from the area where you had the cashew container stuck to your head, you do have a circular small welt on your
but
head.
Notice there's an indentation. That's one of the ways to prove my point, is that if you had a suction cup and you stuck it to, what does it do? It sucks the blood to the surface and makes a hickey. I don't get hickeys. It literally makes indentions, and that's why it's sucking inward, not outward.
Okay, so if you were to like the keg, for example, when you did that leave a mark for a long period of time afterwards?
These marks stay on for about 30 minutes and they're gone.
Doesn't matter how heavy the object is or what kind of object?
Nope.
What are some of the strangest objects that you've stuck to your head?
Oh, let's just say out of women's purses, there's a lot of weird things there.
That's probably requests that you get by people.
Yeah, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, these are your cans." I said, "Oh yeah, let me see your pen. Let me see your." I go, "Yeah,
I'm handing him my pen.
This is yours." So I just go like that,
and it is now stuck to the side of his face.
And then I go,
and now it's not. That's really remarkable. We talked a little bit about some of the appearances that you've done in public on TV shows and whatnot. Tell us about maybe some memorable experiences you've had in public doing showing off your ability.
I'll go first with the celebrities part. I think the biggest thing I ever had was meeting George Clooney and being asked to go out with him, to go to a bar, just to have fun. And the one thing he told me, because I don't know if you know how old I am or not.
I don't.
How old do I look?
You look 45.
I like this guy. I'm almost 60.
That's incredible.
So I don't get wrinkles. I don't age like everyone. That's part of the thing. And I already talked about the strength and all that. But anyways, George Clooney said, I didn't get my break until I was in my late 40s. And I went, holy shnikes, and because I'm trying to do the same thing. Right.
So how did you meet George Clooney? Like, where did this happen? How did the conversation go?
I was actually on I was doing a TV show with Jay Leno that weekend. They flew me out to LA, and the hotel I even forgot the name of the hotel. But he was staying there. He was there for something else also. And I saw this crowd of people taking pictures with them. And of course, my cans on my head, I had Red Bull cans. And he goes, what's this?
Wait, I mean, at this point, you're walking in the lobby of the hotel with cans stuck to your head?
Yeah, because I just came back from doing some show of Jay Leno.
You just left them stuck to your head?
Yeah, I like blowing minds when I'm walking around.
That would do it. How long? I mean, I guess I didn't ask you before. How long can you stick something to your head and leave it there? Mostly
I can stick them on all day long. It's now if I'm really hot, because the thing is, I rode the motorcycle in the day like this, so my legs are still warm and everything. And it's like
he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt,
and
it's like 55 degrees outside.
Yeah, and I don't get cold like everybody does. So No, I already forgot where I was at.
So Clooney sees you
Yeah.
walking in the lobby of the hotel, and you've got cans stuck to your head, and he's got a group of people around him.
Well, it took him by surprise, trying to figure out what's going on, what's the deal with the thing, and I told him who I was and stuff at first, and then I showed him. I told him to pick a can. He picked one. I let it fall off, and that blew his mind. And I said, "Yeah, I'm about to go out again because after I do shows, I usually go out and see the town and do things." And he goes, "You want to go with me?" And I went, "Yeah."
That's incredible. So where'd you go? What did you do?
We went to one of the it was, I don't know the name, remember the name of it, but it was just a newer place for celebrities to go to. And he says what he liked about me is that I took a lot of the attention away from him. And he says you draw a lot of attention when you're walking around. I'm 5'10" and a half with cans on my head. I'm 6'4", 6'6" or something like that. So it's pretty funny, but it just grabs people's attention.
So you're out with George Clooney at this bar. Are you wearing cans on your head at the time?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And what was nice,
tell me there's pictures.
I did not take it at that time. There's probably pictures from people in LA doing. The only picture I have is him and I coming back at 3 a.m. LA time of us coming in together.
That's ridiculous. That's a great story. May is, and we're recording this in May, is Motorcycle Awareness Month. I want to just talk a little bit about you're a client of ours, a former client of ours, and it kind of just segue into Motorcycle Awareness Month. Just if you feel comfortable letting us know kind of how your accident happened and what your injuries were and how that all went down.
Sure. I was headed into a parking lot at AutoZone. And as I was going into the parking lot to find a parking space, a young lady wasn't paying attention and went full speed in reverse and hit the back end of my bike where I did break my ankle.
And was that something that required surgery, or?
I did not have to require surgery, but it did require time off and stuff like that, being in a cast and everything, trying to do the ankle.
I know you mentioned that you rode in today. It's 55 degrees out. I'm assuming you put a fair number of miles on your bike every year.
Yes.
What does it mean to you when you see messages out around town about, like our message, watch for motorcycles, or there's a many number of them out there, just making the public aware that us bikers, and I ride as well, are out on the road?
I think it's very important. I think people really do need to pay attention. I mean, and if you hear a horn beep, now I got air horns on my bike because when I used to beep, they'd still go right in front of us and almost hit us. I now do the air horn, and recently someone almost hit me still with the air horn. I think people need to, even if you got an older car, they have these little things so you can talk on the phone without having the phone to your head. They need to be paying more attention.
And there's no doubt we see more. We're seeing more motorcycle accidents now than we did years ago when automobiles were less safe. And I think it's because there's just many more distractions, whether it's the features in the car that are distracting, or the big one would be cell phones. And, I think cell phone use is probably more dangerous for bikers than alcohol is at this point.
Yeah.
Just based on what I'm seeing when I'm riding around town on the freeway, and you kind of watch what people are doing when you're riding near them. And it seems to me like every 2 or 3, 4 cars, somebody's on their phone, either texting or talking on their phone.
And what kills me, when you ask them nicely, can you please put your phone down? It's for our safety that they have the attitude. Like we did something wrong. It's our safety. I mean, if there was like 2 semis around this truck and they were on cell phones, you don't think they would want to say, hey, get off your cell phone? I don't want to be crushed between 2 trucks. Think of it like that. That's us.
Yeah, I mean, a split second and bad decision, and it's all over. And so it's really an important message, and it's something that our firm is really, we spent over $1 million on over the years and educating the public to watch for motorcycles. That's not something that we just do in the month of May for Motorcycle Awareness Month. That's something we do all year round. If the listener wants more information about spreading awareness of motorcycles on the road, feel free to click on the link to get yourself a Watch for Motorcycles bumper sticker. We appreciate anyone out there helping spread the word. It's been a true pleasure having you here. It's a very interesting story. I'm glad that you've made the most of it. I mean, I think you said earlier that some people are shy away from the attention, and you've kind of embraced it, and that's fantastic.
It's been a great ride.
Well, I want to thank all of you for tuning into the episode. Remember to leave us a review if you love the show, and you can follow us on social media at Hupy and Abraham. And we'll see you on the next episode. As always, if you're injured in an accident, be sure to call Hupy and Abraham at 800-800-5678 to tell them you mean business.
They are the Guinness World Records of lawyers.